This is going to be a bit of a rant video, and today's topic is added sugars. When you go to the grocery store, the supermarket, your Sainsbury's, your Tesco's, your Walmarts, wherever you're from in the world, when you look at the ingredients list of a particular product, for instance, peanut butter, it will have ingredients, peanuts, 96%, something like that. Then it might have a bit of salt. And then it might have a little bit of sugar. It will have salt, sugar, then maybe it'll be like hydrogenated palm oil or some other oil to sort of emulsify it and stuff like that. But the fact that it has sugar, that signifies and symbolizes added sugars inside of that. That means that in the manufacturing process of that peanut butter, they put granulated white plain sugar inside of the sort of mix for that peanut butter. And this happens with so many more things than just peanut butter. You have baked beans, for instance. It's going to have sugar, It's not going to be an apple where it's still got sugar inside of the apple, but it's natural sugars. It's sugars that's going to be binded to those different chemicals. That's going to mean that it's not absorbed so quickly and cause sugar spikes and therefore insulin resistance in the long term. It's not something like an apple or an orange isn't going to have that effect. So that's why it doesn't have to be labelled as this product contains sugar. But it is these added sugars in food products that people don't suspect, that aren't binded to any kind of phytochemicals or any vitamins or anything like that, as well as the sort of plain carbohydrates like wheat flour and all that. They're going to be the main causes of metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance, because it's going to be absorbed very, very quickly through the gut, and then it's going to spike your blood sugar. That's going to cause hyperinsulinemia and all those sort of things that I talked about in my insulin resistance video, which you can check out. It's going to be on my channel page somewhere or other. That's going to be the thing that causes the problems that many people are experiencing in the world. Not the kind of sugar from fruits that's actually really healthy for you and it's binded to things, so the sort of absorbing process is going to be very staggered rather than a quick spike. That's how it works in fruits. But when you are having added sugars, it just goes like this. But when you're having just straight up complex carbs, something like wheat flour, if you just ate straight up plain wheat flour, you're still going to get quite a big spike. When you're having rice or pasta, it's not going to be as bad, but it's going to contain a lot of fiber and protein and stuff that's going to mean that it's absorbed less quickly. But when you're just having plain wheat flour, like you often get inside of many processed food products, it's going to still just go like that. And I know pasta and stuff contains wheat flour, but a lot of pasta is made using whole grain flour, so that also staggers it a lot more. I don't really know about rice, because rice is like a different sort of thing. It's actually growing out the ground, unlike pasta. I don't think I've ever heard of a pasta plant personally, but who knows. But yeah, this is just really, really annoying that companies and people that make food just put sugar. Do you need sugar in peanut butter? No. When you have peanuts 96%, why isn't it peanuts 100%? I've eaten peanut butter that has peanuts 100%, nothing else. It's just grinded up peanuts, and I don't know how exactly they make peanut butter for whatever reason, but you don't need that sugar, it's just the American companies or whatever, they just put it in there because it means that people would be like, oh, nice sugar, it's nice and tasty, let's buy this one again so we make more profit. It just really annoys me, because if people actually understood that kind of stuff, they would know to not buy it. They would know to check the ingredients, and if it says sugar, then stay away from it, because it is those kind of added sugars accumulating over a period of time that admittedly is quite long. But when you're 50, you don't really want to be dying of heart attacks and insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome and obesity. But it does make sense to actually want to prolong your life instead of just dying from added sugars and non-nutritious wheat flour. It's just all very annoying that stuff has to be made that way. Can't we just have peanut butter that's 100%? And as I say, there's going to be so many examples where there is just added sugars in everything. Obviously, you're going to have your sweets, your chocolates, the stuff you'd expect to have sugar in, where the sugar is just poured in, granulated sugar, straight up, white, plain, no nutrition, etc, etc. That's where you'd expect sugar to be, so you know that that's bad for you. It's common knowledge that sugar's it's bad for your teeth, it's bad for your internal systems, your blood sugar. That's common knowledge that it's bad for you. But no one knows that baked beans contains the equivalent of 5 sugar cubes of sugar in it per can. You've got 20 grams. You'd have seen like the little food traffic light labels. It says per half can, sugar 10 grams. That means per whole can is 20 grams. And 1 sugar cube that you would have seen inside of restaurants is around 4 grams. So that is 5 sugar cubes worth of sugar inside of 1 baked beans can. Does that not seem obscenely wrong and incorrect to be putting that in there while people don't even really know that it's existing in there. And then you got like sauces like ketchup. Sauces I'll sort of accept that there's going to be a lot of sugar in there because they're condiments. They're not supposed to be consumed in a large amount. But if you're having a whole baked beans can, that is 5 sugar cubes worth of sugar inside of that can. That seems obscene to me to be having in one meal. If you put 5 sugar cubes inside of your cup of tea, people would look at you like you're absolutely crazy. But no one looks at you like you're crazy if you have a can of baked beans, because no one knows that it contains 5 fucking cubes of sugar inside of it. Not that you're going to open up a can of baked beans and there's going to be 5 sugar cubes in there, but that's what's being mixed in there. That's what's being put in there in the sauce. It's mostly in the sauce, in the like processing that they use or whatever. It's very annoying that that's the way that this world works and world is run, because it's that added sugars, not the. I don't even think that it's the sweets, the ice creams, the chocolates, because they're supposed to be consumed in small quantities, and humans know that, because humans know that that is bad for them. They will have a pudding as a treat. That's why it's called pudding. It's a treat. But they don't think baked beans is a treat, but it has 5 sugar cubes in them, and it doesn't even taste like it's really sweet or sugary either. You don't even get the sort of nice enjoyment of eating something sugary, because it doesn't even taste that sugary anyway. So it's just literally, you're just being killed. Not like, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Your internal systems, your blood sugar is being screwed up from that can of baked beans, and you don't even really know it, because you don't actually know that it contains such a heinous amount of sugar. I'll still have a pudding from time to time if some kind of effort has been put into it to actually be like made, or it's actually like quite nice, it's fancy. And if I don't have pudding, it's going to be a bit more frowned upon in a weird sort of social sense. I'm going to have a pudding then, but I won't have some chocolates, some Haribos and stuff like that. That's just how I personally function. But people know the puddings, they're treats, the Haribos, they're treats. And I'm going to go on to about sugar addictions in another video and stuff. But it's the added sugars that are in the generic, common staple foods that you wouldn't expect. Bread, in the loaves of bread, you will see sugar, inside of loaves of bread, whether it's whole grain or whether it's white bread. But because bread is such a common and staple good inside the diet, you can't just get rid of it just like that. So it's basically you a citizen, me a citizen, our families as citizens. We are at the mercy of these big companies that make the loaves of bread, that make the baked beans, that make the peanut butter, to actually have some kind of moral and to not put stupid added sugar in their food that doesn't even make the food taste that nice. I will accept sweets and chocolates to be continued to be made because they are nice as treats. I rarely have them just because I don't like them as like tasting, because they're way too sickly. Puddings and stuff I'll eat on a very rare basis, because yes, they do taste nice, admittedly, and I'll have it if it's like a fancier social occasion and stuff like that. But there is absolutely no reason that I can personally see for companies to put added sugar in peanut butter, in bread, in baked beans, in a variety of loads of other foods as well. It just seems pointless, and it seems like it's a very big bane of our society. We're at the mercy of people who have a lot of money. We're at the mercy of all of their moral obligations, which they probably don't even have much, to be fair. And it's just very annoying to be stuck in that kind of position. So that's why being free for me, being able to make the choices that I want to make, being able to choose the peanut butter that doesn't have added sugar in it rather than the one that does, actually be able to have that sort of freedom of choice, because it might be a bit more expensive if it doesn't have sugar in it. I don't know, that could potentially be something that happens inside of the supermarkets and society and stuff like that. Another thing that I do want to say is that check the supermarket labels. There's probably a type of bread out there that doesn't have sugar, that doesn't have sugar, There's probably a type of peanut butter out there that doesn't have sugar, Again, maybe a type of baked beans that doesn't have sugar, and it's only going to be the natural sugar that's inside of the tomato juice, or that's inside of the actual beans themselves, that's going to be inside of that can of baked beans. That's what I hope for with this world, and I want to give you the knowledge to check the ingredients list on products that you buy that you may suspect might have some added sugar in them. You may not have to check it for things like vegetables or things like the ready-made meals or whatever, but when you suspect that there's going to be some sugar in this and it's added, it's not natural sugars, it's not like an apple or anything like that, if you suspect it, do check it, because you could save yourself years of suffering from insulin resistance, from eating these added sugars your whole life without even really noticing or knowing anything about it. So with that, I recommend subscribing, because I love this community of young tribal people who are willing to improve themselves so much more than they already have, and good luck.